Welcome to the Back 9 Six-Pack with Mitch and Justin. Let's roll.
Hello and welcome to episode 133 of the Back 9 Six-Pack. My name is Mitch, joined as always by my esteemed colleague Justin. First, happy belated birthday. I realize I didn't text you or anything.
That's all right. I think I sent it in one of our chats that we're in together that I was deemed that I had the birthday blues yesterday. And it's kind of a reference to Entourage because there's an episode about a character named Turtle having the birthday blues. I definitely think I did have them yesterday. And I think honestly, nothing was like what we did during the day. Like I had a good day. Like I got to play some golf, simulator golf. I went to dinner at a place I kind of like to eat at. Like got to just like relax, like just not a lot of that going on. So yeah, but I think most of it was due is like, this is a Sunday, dude. It's like, you can't really get hyped about anything on a Sunday. Like you don't really want to, you know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
But I was determined that I had the birthday blues yesterday, but thank you to everybody that reached out. Like I know you did this this morning or whatever, but like I had everybody reach out. It's very appreciative. That was not why I had the birthday blues. I think it was just 36 is just like an odd birthday of just like, all right, just another year older, kind of thing. So
yeah, the second part I was going to say is welcome to the downside of your 30s. You're on the slippery slope to 40 now.
It's that was another conversation I had. When you're 30, you're like, that's so far away.
Yeah.
And then you really get to 35 and you're like, fuck, that's not that far away. Like, and it happens pretty fast. Cause just like those birthdays in between are just not very like, like memorable. It's not like most people have like gigantic parties for a 40th, or whatever. But like, you're not like throwing a party or, so like from 30 to 35 happens pretty fast. And I can only imagine 35 to 40 happens pretty fast as well. So,
yeah, I think, when you're in the stage, like the 36 to 40, it's kind of like when you have a young kid, and you like age them by months to a certain point, but then you get to that weird, like, I'm not going to say they're 19 months. So it's like, they're 2 years, right? Like round up kind of thing. So it's kind of like you don't even say your specific age right now. You're just like, yeah, I'm in my late 30s. I'm in my mid 30s.
Yeah. That's the other, that makes it weird. It does. It really does. Yeah. I think part of my blues too is like we spent Saturday in a basketball gym, like had a couple basketball games. At least my basketball team, college basketball team, didn't lose. Like that helped things a little bit. That it could have been a slippery slope after that if that would have happened. But yeah, it is weird when you start getting your mid 30s. Like you just kind of say mid 30s. You don't really even get a number unless someone asks specifically. So.
Yeah, it's tough. It's, no milestone birthdays. You're so wrapped up in your kids and their birthdays. It's easy to get in the birthday blues.
Yeah, and I have a kid that has a birthday like almost exactly 2 weeks before mine. So it's like, we were doing stuff for her birthday last weekend. So it's like, yeah, it kind of runs in together. So, but shout out to my parents for giving me money to go play Keno with yesterday. So that was nice to not lose my money and lose somebody else's. So
the gift that keeps on giving, the Keno.
Actually,
Keno
it's funny. I didn't lose. I turned it into $15 more. So
there you go.
There we go.
Pay that forward. No easy transition into what I want to talk about next, but I just wanted to talk about it up front because it's something that it's been a part of my life now for a while and hadn't talked about it all on the show. For those that listened last week, Justin mentioned, my dad passed away. That happened on February 12th, with a short but very kind of traumatic and aggressive battle with cancer. So, thank you to everybody that reached out. Loads of people that after hearing you talk about it on the show last week, text me, people sent in fan mail that didn't have my number, like that only really know me from listening to this. That was really cool. Several friends, family members, family friends, everybody who showed up for the actual funeral, all that stuff. It was one of those things that, like, I don't know, it's still kind of shocking. You just have this pillar of your life that's just gone, and it's like there's just an emptiness and a void you're never going to fill again. It's so tough. But like, it just, the way that it happened, like, it was, cancer sucks, dude. That's all it is. Like, just truly, fuck cancer. Everybody says that for a reason. You go through life and you lose people, and people that lose people, and until it really hits home like that for you, it's truly hard to actually, like, know what people are going through with this stuff.
Yeah.
And it's awful.
Yeah. And with cancer, and why it sucks so bad, it's like, it's the lead up, right? Like, it's the chemo. Like, it's hard. Like, that shit's so hard. I just remember, thank God, my sister-in-law's in remission, but, like, dude, going through bone marrow transplants and, like, chemo, and, like, dude, it just kills you. Like, you're not the same person. She was not the same person for a year, and she was one of the lucky ones, right? But, like, the chemo, like, cancer just sucks. It does. It really, really sucks. And, I think from our standpoint, now that we are dads, like, losing a parent or a dad, like, it just makes it that much harder. Like, you can almost, right or wrong, you almost kind of feel like, all right, like, now it's my turn to step into this role, right? Like, not for your brothers and sisters, but like that was the one person standing between you and, like, being the leader, right? And now you're, like, thrust into this position, and I've never lost a parent, thankfully, not yet. But, like, what did hit home was when I was kind of talking about that article, was like, this age is really hard.
Mm-hmm.
Because there are a lot of, like, stuff like this happens, and that's all I could, every time I thought about you is, like, I put myself in your shoes, and it's like, wondering what the hell I would do. Right. And I don't know. And I can tell you this, for anybody that didn't go to the funeral, like, Mitch is, like, frankly, I don't even know how you stood up there and talked. Like, I was in the back, like, losing it. So, but I'm glad. And just so you know, like, I had 5 or 6 people that know you, but don't have your number, that listen to our show, that reached out, and it's like, hey, I don't know Mitch, but, tell him I'm thinking about him and stuff like that. And to me, that's hopefully helps you, in the void of, losing your dad. And I just think it's cool that we've kind of created this community that people that they know who you are, but they don't know you, can reach out and kind of say stuff like that. So,
yeah. I mean, one thing that really stood out to me, and I knew this about my dad, like, my dad truly did touch a lot of people's lives, not in, like, the kind of, like, maybe emotional ways or other ways you think of some other people, but, like, my dad was just a provider, and he was just, like, how people say, oh, I know a guy, right? When you need a car thing or you need something else. My dad was a lot of people's guy that they knew, right?
Yeah.
And he was an electrician, building inspector, so he just knew a lot of shit and could do a lot of things. So yeah, just people coming out of the woodworks I'd never met before, but they knew Dad from whatever, and shaking my hand that day and all that, and it was just like, it's hard not to be touched by that, to someone that was such a massive figure in your life, and they have these other little things outside of your life too, that, and they experienced my dad the same way that I did, just like the great person he was.
Yeah, because a lot of times, like, and this refers to us too, right? And it makes you start thinking, like, all right, like, how am I affecting people? Like, maybe not in the way that I think I should, but, like, just, like, you don't have to, right? Like you said, the stuff that he did was, like, not like, he wasn't like some famous person or anything, like, but he probably touched as many lives as that, just because he was, like you said, he's that guy for everybody. And I knew your dad, but I thought it was, what I didn't know is how many people, because I knew him as, like, this, like, he's family guy, like, took care of you guys. Like, I knew that, but I didn't know, is like, he was an electrician, right? And he was an inspector, and it's like, damn, like, he's inspecting buildings that I've been in before, right? Like, my life was better because he was around to do that stuff, right? So it is really cool. It was, for me, to, like, yeah, like, he affected a lot of people. It was like, it was a lot of people there, and that's how you kind of, you don't judge a person on how much money they made or anything like that. It's like, how many people show up to your funeral? What does that look
Yeah.
like? And your dad, I can tell you, was probably one of the richest people in the world.
Yeah. Well, thank you for saying that. Yeah, if anybody, if you want, Justin mentioned the eulogy I gave. My brother and sister and I all gave one of our own, and I posted mine on my Instagram. If anybody's curious, wants to go read it, I didn't want to read it word for word here. Probably wouldn't make it through without getting a little choked up again. But yeah, just at Mitch.Wilcox on Instagram. You want to go read that. And then you can also check out his obituary too. It's Arlington Memorial Gardens, their website. It'll be up there as well. But yeah, I can't do enough justice to my dad and all that on a freaking golf and beer podcast here. But I just had to take a minute to just, say something. And I love my dad and I miss him. So
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, so moving on from that, show updates. We're back monthly or weekly, sorry.
Yes. And I'm excited.
So am I. I'm glad to be here this week. We took some time. Look, obviously the stuff going on with my dad, that was part of this. The reason we went to every other week. But, I think we found kind of a rhythm within kind of our quote unquote off season to go every other week. But it's the Florida swing is here. We are 2 weeks from posting season in our own golf lives. Like, we are full systems go on the road.
It's time to go back. It's time to get back. Yeah.
Yeah, it's time. So we are here for that. So if you are here, please subscribe, rate, and review the show. Follow us on social media at Back96Pack. And I mentioned fan mail earlier. That link is down in the show description. So shoot us a message, question, whatever. We'll be happy to read that on the show. And with that, what's a little pro golf time? I actually watched / listened to a pretty good amount of this tournament this weekend.
I've watched a decent amount yesterday. Yeah. There wasn't their basketball games didn't start till 1:30. So I watched a lot of the Premier group and stuff, or whatever, the group that they follow around. I watched a couple of they had a couple of the holes streaming. I watched a lot of that, and I did watch a decent amount yesterday. And boy, oh boy. It was kind of one of those things. If you turn the TV on at 3 o'clock, 2:30, you're like, he's running away,
Yeah.
Shane's running away with it. Boy, did things change fast.
Yeah. So for anyone who didn't watch at all, Nico Echeverria shot 17 under to win the Cognizant Classic. He won by 2 over a couple of guys, Taylor Moore, Austin Smotherman, and notable Shane Lowry. We'll get to him in a second and go through that. But Nico's bogey free on the weekend, which is very impressive on this course. I know it's not as hard as it used to play, but there's just water and stuff everywhere. It's very easy to make a bogey.
My dad came over yesterday and we were talking about it, and he's like, I don't understand. I played this course when I was I played in a junior tournament down here. And he got to play, we did a practice round, but he played with me. We ended up getting rained out. I think we played one of the bear trap holes, and then it got rained out. But he was like, I get it. There's water. He's like, but he's like, maybe it is the water. He's like, and we started talking about the course. It's yeah, there's some tight holes out here because it's not a long course. It's not. I think it's maybe barely over 7,000 yards. Guys hit irons off some tees and still have 9 irons in. It's not a long course, but I think that goes to show you that. And I think, to me, in this day and age, a tournament ending in 17 under is I think that's a fair test of golf. I think we're at the point where I know that doesn't seem like much, but that is a fair test of golf. For a winner to be at 17 under, it's not excessive. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, and this is one of those tournaments too where there was so many guys still in it, Saturday afternoon, even into Sunday morning. There was opportunities for guys to go get it still. It wasn't like you had, somebody at 17 under that was running away with it or something.
Or got
either.
to 23 and everybody else was at 15. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But I think it is just truly I think that and I think we kind of knew this, but it proves that making it longer doesn't make it harder. Making it, the greens faster doesn't make it harder. But making something tighter where you can't just get up there and bomb a driver 370 and just figure out where it goes, that does not work at this course. Clearly. Yeah,
I think it's, having actual penalties, right? I'm not a big fan of just like water hazards everywhere or whatever.
No, I'm not
like,
either.
When these guys hit a bad shot, like
it's got to be penalized. Like,
yeah, exactly.
I can't have you hitting a bad shot and being like, well, I'm in like an inch deeper rough. Like, that's not a challenge for these guys. Like, I need your ball to be in a place where you're not going to be able to play it. And so for them, for like actual pros, I think it's not the worst thing to like, hey, like you didn't, and they don't have to make perfect swings, but like you can't get away with just like flailing it, right? And like some of these courses they play now, it's like, you know, not the, I love Riv, but like Riv's got some holes where it's like, you can hit it like 3 holes over and like get onto the green. Like, you know what I mean? And that to me is not fun, like for watching, you know?
Yeah. And I think there's, you know, a lot of tournaments I find myself watching, and it'll be like, after you spend a couple of days watching the course, or if it's one you know really well on the PGA Tour, you'll find yourself like pre-counting the birdies. Like, you know, like, oh,
he's going to birdie this hole.
4, 6, 9, like those are all birdie holes. So you're just like trying to figure out to do the math of like, what can someone actually catch them or whatever.
Yeah.
And of course, like this, it's like, okay, well, there's car crash potential kind of thing.
Well, and you know, and I was when you were saying that, I was kind of thinking, I'm like, okay, 18's a par 5, but dude, I've hit that tee shot. Like, if I'm leading, that is the last tee shot, especially for someone that misses the ball right. That's the last tee shot I want in my to hit, like, period. So while it is, if you can hit the ball into the fairway off the tee, it's an easier hole. But like, even then, it's not one you're coming up to like, oh, this is guaranteed, right? Like, but I think you're right. Mm-hmm. We do play courses where it's like, all right, they're going to get one here. They're going to get one at this short par 5, you know, whatever. They're going to have flip wedge into this. If he just hits the fairway, he's going to birdie the, like, there are courses like that, and I just don't think. I think PGA National is just not that. Like, there is some like you got to work for it a little more on every hole to kind of make things happen.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, back to Nico. This is his 3rd win. His first one in the U.S. though. His others are 2023 in Puerto Rico, and 2024 he won the Zozo, which is the Bay Current now, and that's in Japan. Top 5s and notables. He was T2, Taylor Moore, we already mentioned this. Shane Lowry and Austin Smotherman. And then 5th is, Ricky Castillo. I didn't realize it's Castillo, not Castillo.
Yeah, he was an ex-Florida Gator.
Yeah, I guess he's Filipino, so that's why it's pronounced like there's an I in there, but there's not one. I thought Dan Hicks was just saying it wrong the entire day. It was driving me nuts. And then so a couple notables. T9 for one Brooks Koepka, and T13 for Max Homa. So
did you hear the question that they asked Brooks after Friday? They're like, hey, does it still mean something to like make the cut? And like he kind of looked at him and was like, if we're out here measuring success by making cuts, he's like, I'm gonna quit. But they asked Max Homa the same question. I think he said something along the lines like, yeah, of course it matters. Like it means something to make the cut. But I feel like they're in very different situations, right? Like Max just coming off of probably his worst 2 years of golf ever, you know, even with the downfall that he had early on in his career. Like he's had a rough couple years. Brooks is kind of like making his way back, but he's always kind of had like the Hardo standards kind of thing. So right. I'm not surprised by either answer. I just thought it was funny. Like the 2 answers you got differently from those guys. Like, but Brooks was like, yeah, if we're measuring whether I'm making the cut as a success, like he's like, I'm quitting.
Yeah.
Like
for sure. The one thing to note with Brooks, he was top 20 off the tee and approach on the green. Strokes gained around the green, he lost, but finally strokes gained putting popped off a little bit. He was 15th in the field, 2.7 strokes gained for the tournament, and he switched to that mallet.
I saw a video of that about a week ago. Yeah.
Yeah, got him back on some Bermuda. Said he did not have fun on the POA on the West Coast swing.
It's hard.
Which,
it's hard.
I can get. But I guess, you know, hey, I mean, we're coming up. Big tournament's coming, you know.
I tell you what, I did, and I would say this. He made the cut, barely made the cut.
Yeah.
I did enjoy the way he fought.
Yeah.
To like get it back to like getting a top 10. Like I think old Brooks, like the last couple years on the PGA Tour, Brooks, like prior to leaving for Live, would have probably mailed that in and maybe not even made the cut.
Yeah.
But like, I think him, kind of digging deep, making the cut, and then not like mailing in, just like, all right, I'm going to take my 50th and go home, and like actually working back to a top 10. I think that probably shows you a little different approach to it than probably prior to leaving for Live.
Yeah, definitely. And then to note on Max, maybe figuring out the driver here. I don't know if this is. It's hard on this course because, like you said, a lot of guys do club down.
Yeah, there's probably like, man, some of these guys probably aren't hitting more than like 5 or 6 drivers, really.
Yeah, that's true. But he was 13th in strokes gained off the tee, which that was absolutely killing him for the last season and a half when he's been struggling. So something to monitor there, just with 2 guys that we like to follow, and maybe they're on the upswing a little bit as we head into kind of a big stretch of golf. But before we move on, we're bringing it back. I texted you earlier in the week, and I was like, you know what? We need to get back, or last week, sorry. Let's bring back some of our old segments. And so that's what we're doing here. For those that have listened to us for a long time, we used to do a segment called the Back 9 6-Pack Award, and this was to go out to somebody who should have bought the Back 9 6-Pack at the turn, whether they struggled on the front 9 or they needed to keep their momentum heading into the back 9, whatever it may be. There's always a reason to get the Back 9 6-Pack. And this has to go to one and only Shane Lowry.
Oh, you can't finish. You can't double the 2 of the last 3 holes and chalk it up to anything other than you just didn't take care of business at the turn.
No, he didn't grab a 6-pack again at the turn. He birdied 5 and 9, goes to eagle 10, and then makes birdies on 12 and 13. He has a 3-shot lead standing on the 16th tee. He makes back-to-back doubles after hitting 2 tee balls in the water. The one on 16, the only person that hit in the water all week there on that hole.
Yeah, just for, again, there's so much bailout left. Now, is it ideal coming into the green from over there? No, but you're also not in the water. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. And then to hit like a shorter club and do that, like, dude, if you're gonna do that, just fucking blister a driver out there, and at least you have to drop another 30 yards up. I don't know. It's really not a driver hole. You kind of have to lay back a little bit, but man, it just seems like he hit not a lot of club and then did that, and it was like, damn, dude, that's a tough way to hit it in the water.
No, it's the classic, like, worst thing you can do in golf, right? You take the club to lay up, and then you fuck up the layup, right? Like, you're taking the safety club, the 3-iron, to find the fairway, and then you hit it in the water. There's no worse feeling than that.
Yeah.
So he does that, and then on 17, that ball was not even close.
Never had a chance. Never.
I don't know if it ever crossed land.
Never.
It was just in the water.
So there was a pretty hefty crosswind, like left to right. He started it like 10 feet right of the pin. I'm like, dude, as soon as he hit it, I'm like, not a fucking chance. I'm like, even if he took 2 extra clubs, that thing's not sniffing land. Like, and it didn't. No. It did. I don't know if it came within 20 yards of hitting land.
I think it was closer to the other side of the water than it was to the green.
Oh, easily. Yeah. Easily. That thing was so far gone. As soon as he hit it, I'm like, there's no seeing that. That is not seeing land at all.
Yeah, so he, like I said, double-double. I think I heard this correctly. I think it was the first time in his career he's made back-to-back doubles.
I can't imagine it happens ever, really, at all.
No, that's tough.
Yeah, because you figure he like throws in a bogey in there. It's like
anything. Yeah. I mean, that sucks. And the only thing I will say to Shane, good on him for going and doing media afterwards. It would be way easy to pull the Morikawa and just duck out. His quote, "I'm obviously extremely disappointed. I had the tournament in my hands and I threw it away. What more can I say?" Yeah, that stings. He had some other comments about, he just really, it's, his adopted hometown event. He's got a young daughter. He had some comments about, he just wanted to win it for her and, she was going to be there to celebrate and all that. That sucks. He's got a top 11 or better in 5 straight years without a win here.
Jeez.
This is the most painful one for sure. I mean,
there's no way he's playing in the thing next year, right? He's sitting this one out next year, right? I mean, I
think he's going to keep coming back. He wants to win it bad, but it's like, God, dude, that's tough.
At what point is it just deemed insanity and we just chalk up that you're going to get top 10s but never win it?
Man, I don't know.
Yeah,
It's when you get to sleep in your own bed, it's hard not to try.
I know. Yeah, it's kind of one of those things. There's like no travel involved, really.
Yeah. So yeah, congratulations to Shane Lowry. You didn't win the tournament, but you did get the Back 9 6-pack award for this week. Stay tuned next week. We got the API, so I'm sure we'll have some pretty electric scorecards.
I'll tell you how hard they've had this thing play this week, coming up this week. I enjoy the Arnold Palmer. I really do. It's I think it is my favorite like Florida swing tournament. But it's just, I think the venue, the way they play the course, like it's fun to kind of watch guys struggle. And that's kind of how it's been the last 3 years, pretty much there. Yeah, like the winners probably not hit double digits. Maybe last year they got the double digits, but like the previous years, it was a grind.
Yeah. You just brought up an interesting point. We got 4 Florida swing events. How would you rank them?
Well, API number 1 for sure.
More than the players?
I think so. For me, it is. I like the players. I do like it's the players, and it's definitely number 2 for sure. I've played TP. Here's my thing. I've played TPC at Sawgrass. I'm not a fan of the course. I'm just not.
Oh man!
Like you have 16's cool, 17's cool, 18's cool. Outside of that, it's not. It's like an okay course. Like it's just okay. It really is. There's really, other than those 3 holes, it's like it's very mid. Like the rest of the course.
Why do you hate Pete Dye?
First off, we're not going to go down the Pete Dye rabbit hole because I could go for days, and it all starts out with railroad ties. That's where it begins, you know.
Oh shit!
But I played Sawgrass, and again, 16, 17, 18, some of the best holes in golf. They really are. But the rest of the course is like I've said this to somebody that like was going down there to play it. And you're like, you got any like, you know, pointers or whatever? And I was like, you're going to go walk off 18. You're going to be like, they built the rest of this course and they're like, fuck, we got to do something to bring somebody back because the rest of this course fucking sucks. So they made the last 3 holes awesome. Like that's all I can think of what they did. They're like, all right, no one's coming back to play this course unless we do something cool in the last 3. And that's how they got the last 3 holes. But I think I'm too close to the kitchen, right? I'm too close to the cooking. I don't like the course as much as I like the API. And I think that's so for me, it'd be like API, then the players. I always want to call it the Honda, the Cognizant. And then what's the other one?
Valspar.
Yeah, Valspar. So, although I like the Valspar course too.
Yeah,
it honestly would be like if I wouldn't be a total D-bag and like bump the players down to 4, I would move the Cognizant up and the Valspar to 3, and then put the players at 4. But there's too much money on the line at the players to not like rank it higher.
Yeah, I mean, I like the players. I think. I just am a fan of the big events, right? And it's like, you know, NBC rolls out some stuff they don't have for other events. You get like better coverage, like some stuff that the tournament itself doesn't control, which is, it's hard to hold that against other ones, but I just enjoy it a bit more. I don't mind Sawgrass.
I'll say this, the players weekend is elite. You get the players championship, you know, you're watching that on Sunday, knowing damn well in about an hour after that tournament's over, you're going to have a bracket to fill out. Like it's an elite like day of sports, like because it's an interesting tournament. Like the guys are playing for a lot of money. Mm-hmm. It's usually a really good leaderboard. There's usually some drama because of the last 3 holes. Like it's and then you lead up into like Selection Sunday. So it is like an elite window of sports. But I just Sawgrass for me just doesn't do it. I don't know.
Yeah, I'd put that first. I'm similar to your take about like putting the players last. I don't want to be hot takey and put Valspar second, but I kind of want to.
Look, the snake pit, baby.
The problem is I love the course and I love the style of golf that they have to play there. The problem is you don't usually get the best field, so it's hard to to rank that up there.
It's kind of the same with the Cognizant, right? Like, if you could get like Rory and like some of the bigger names that go out there, like that tournament would be elite. It just doesn't get the field because of like how the schedule splits up, you know.
I'm going to go players out of respect for Mr. Palmer. I'll put API next, and then we'll go Valspar and then Cognizant. That's how I would go.
I really enjoyed my time at PGA National when I played there, and there's something, I don't know, you play a course too, you're like, that you actually liked, and you're like, oh, like, it kind of sits with you for a while. So
the upcoming schedule, I was going to touch on that next. API next week, the Players the week after, then Valspar, Texas Children's Houston Open, Valero Texas Open, and then the Masters. We get that little Texas run before the Masters. Yep.
But yeah, we are definitely rounding into like golf viewing stages right now for sure.
Yeah. You got any early Masters takes? Anything percolating?
I mean, we both love Jordan Spieth. That goes without saying. I placed that bet. I'm an idiot, but it is probably going to backfire.
I've done it too.
The only hope was we can just get our hearts torn out on Sunday, like he actually is in it, and just get our hearts torn out. That would be the only way I could see that going down.
Yeah,
but I like Jordan. You mentioned it earlier. I think Brooks, like, just the way he's hitting the ball, and then tag it with some improved putting. Don't hate him. I felt this last year, but like Bryson's just like, it's gonna happen. It might not be something anybody likes, but it's like, it seems so inevitable that he's going to win this tournament.
I think
at some point.
The problem with Bryson is he gets in his own way a lot, and I think he's getting in his own way this year. He had like this little heater where he was kind of like in a comfy spot the last couple years, but now he's got the whole thing with like LA Golf and his live contract and all this shit going on. I think he's just going to be like back to like little bitch Bryson. Like he's going to be real mean and like nasty on the course.
You think so?
I think I'm feeling he's going to be low energy out there, like real irritable.
I can just say this, and it might not be this year. It feels inevitable that he's going to win a Masters at some point.
Maybe. I don't. This would be wild if it happened. But what if Rory just went back to back?
I know he's not been like, he's played okay.
He should have won at Riv.
Yeah, he probably should have won at Riv. But I mean, it's going to be hard for a non-big name to like win. It's not a tournament that happens much.
What about Patrick Reed, one of the hottest golfers in the world?
No, I'm not even going to put that out there that I think it could happen. I just don't want it to happen.
Look,
which probably means it's going to happen.
DraftKings. So after he won the first DP World Tour event he won, DraftKings somehow was still hanging a 90-1 on him, and he was like 40-1 everywhere else. So Nick and I both sprinkled that a little bit, just like to protect our own.
Like, for a guy that's won a couple tournaments, it's kind of hard not to. Like,
it's like it's like a hedge. If it does happen, well, it's like at least I won a little bit on it. You know?
It's like I don't enjoy watching this, but at least I won money. Yeah.
So that's kind of, we're fishing in some of the same buckets there for sure. The other one that this is somebody I feel like could sneakily win a Masters, so I'm going to just keep betting him because the number is probably going to be good. I bet on Akshay again.
Did you really?
Yeah, I know I'm falling for like the lefty trap at Augusta. That's mostly what it is. But like, when he flashes, he's so good.
The problem is he flashes and then he something happens where like he kind of just crashes and burns. You know what I mean?
He booms after he flashes. Yeah. That's true.
He becomes a barrel of gunpowder.
I think I also, you know what? I can't remember if it was for this or the PGA, but I also sprinkled Justin Rose when he was winning at Torrey. So I might have something on him as well. I think Rose, it does
feel like a redemption of like, he feeds off the weirdest things. And for some reason, like it does feel like he could feed off that of like that was my Masters that got taken away. Like, I'm going to go get this one. I could see that happening.
We're not going to get the number we got last year or the years prior, but just bet Justin Rose to win their first round leader, please. Just everybody do that.
I could see him coming out of the gate hot for sure.
He's been first round leader at the Masters several times now.
Yeah, it's been a lot. Yeah.
And there would be a sick redemption story. I'd be so on board with him winning.
Oh, I'd be 100% on board with that. Actually, now that we talk about it, it's kind of one of the ones I want to happen.
Yeah. He's a guy where it's like, I feel like he should be a 2 major player.
Oh,
yeah.
For sure. Absolutely.
Okay. Speaking of old segments that we wanted to bring back, been a long time, I feel like, since we did a power ranking. I don't even know the last time we did a power ranking.
Been a while.
Yeah, so I'll set this one up a little bit. So I stumbled upon this guy on Instagram, as people often do on Reels, right? His name's Leighton Hart. It's at Leighton Writes on Instagram. He does this thing called the Dad Indexes for some of his posts. And so one of the things that I stumbled upon, or the first thing of his I stumbled upon, was he was, he doesn't rank them like we're about to power ranking wise. It's more of a score or whatever for like different types of things. So this one that I stumbled upon, something we've talked about a lot on this show, is, the best types of coffees. Speaking situationally, not like, actual type of coffee. So we figured we should go ahead and power rank these ourselves. Which means for me, well, one, we're going to do our top 6. We always do 6, back 9 6 pack. But of course, I got to hit you with some honorable mentions. Do you have any of those?
I do.
Okay.
I might be in the like very, very, very small minority in this, but like there's nothing better than like, so I go to a gym and work out, right? But like, there's nothing better than like walking into a coffee shop and getting like a post-workout coffee. That was up there. It wasn't top 6, but it definitely was up there of like, I don't know, like, especially because I get like a latte and I'm like, I fucking earned this like 230 calorie latte. You know what I mean? Like, it's something about that like mental, that mental hurdle of like, if you didn't work out, you'd feel kind of bad about getting this, but then you work out and you're like, fuck it. I can spend, 230 calories on a latte.
Absolutely. Yeah, I totally get that. One of mine that I really wanted to find a way to work this in, but it just felt better in the honorable mention. We're going to have these in a couple months here. The pre-round coffee on a golf trip. Different than like your usual pre-round coffee if you have that, When you're on a trip and it's like you're with the boys, maybe you're a little groggy from the night before or whatever. You're, just stumbling through trying to find something on Google Maps or whatever to go find and get a coffee or whatever. It's about the like ritual of it and the trip to go get the coffee more so than anything else.
Yeah, and you guys, you're rolling 4, 8 deep, whoever's on your trip, like rolling into a coffee shop. Hopefully some ladies in there, you know what I mean? Check out the fit. Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah, so that's one of mine. And then I have another one. My second honorable mention is because a lot of people, coffee is a go-to hangover drink for them. I've never really felt that way, but I will say the day after coffee, especially if it's iced, deserves a mention.
It's got to be iced. Like hot coffee a day after just getting after it is not pleasant.
No, not for me either. Not pleasant. There's some people that just go straight black coffee, like that's their day after routine. It's not.
That makes me feel worse, honestly.
Same.
Like if I'm hungover and like I'm going like to breakfast after being hungover, I'm getting a Diet Coke. That is the only thing that's going to make me feel better. It is not a coffee. It is definitely not a coffee.
Yeah, I'm with you. But yeah, you get that day after kind of like mid-morning, grab a like little iced coffee, a little iced latte or something. That hits a little different. I can support that. All right, we ready to get in the top 6 here?
Yep.
All right, I'll give you mine first. This one might be on your list, and I wouldn't be shocked if it's higher than where I have it. The post-dinner cocktail coffee. Is it higher?
It's slightly higher.
Okay.
Slightly higher. Yep.
Yeah, so we're talking your Irish coffee, your Mexican coffee, etc., stuff like that. Really more like a dessert coffee, but also like can transition you from probably a pretty hearty feast back into drinking rather than just going straight in with like an actual drink, right?
Yeah, and by the way, coffee is like a digestive, right? Yeah. Like, so kind of like you go to a big steakhouse, you're like, God dang, I got this, 40-ounce tomahawk in me. The coffee's going to help you kind of get get that digested and like be ready to go for like after dinner.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that it's slightly higher, but yes, it is higher for sure.
I figured.
For sure. Mine pretty specific, but like springtime back patio coffee. Like it's slightly cold. It's slightly cool outside. It's not cold. Not cold. Slightly cool. You grab a cup of coffee on like a Saturday. You walk out back. You know, like I like to sit out back and in a chair, and like my one dog like brings his frisbee to this chair. You're out there playing with the dog, sipping on some coffee, like, and you just got like shorts and like a sweatshirt on. It's elite. And like the grasses, you're like, dang, I hate cutting grass, but like the grass is already growing. You're like, I don't hate that part of it. You know, like things are starting to grow in, like, and maybe it's higher because of like our heads are getting to that point of like we're in March.
Yeah.
Like, that's like probably about a month away kind of thing. But that was 6 for me.
I've got a similar one, not the exact one, but similar, a little higher on mine.
Okay.
So I get that one.
Well, since you already said it, 5 for me was the dinner coffee.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of coffee mixed with tequila. That's a Mexican coffee. You can do whipped cream. You can do a scoop of ice cream. Scoop of ice cream is dangerous. But I do like a good Mexican coffee. I like it. You know, I would even throw an espresso martini in there because that is coffee. All those are fantastic. Any combination of those, Irish coffee, any combination of those, I'm in. Dinner coffee, like post-dinner coffee is where it's at.
Yeah, I'm all the way in as well. Number 5 for me, I could see this one being high on your list too. The Christmas morning coffee.
Didn't make my list, actually.
That surprises me. Because
I feel
not
like make my list.
Yeah, some other theme stuff we've done. I feel like Christmas related things pop. Like you're a big Christmas Eve drinks guy, I think.
Yeah, I am. Yeah. Oh yeah. But I don't know. I don't even think I thought about it, to be honest with you. But it is a good cup of coffee.
Yeah, I mean it's there's a couple on here that are homebrewed for me, a couple that are get them out somewhere else. But this is a homebrewed situation where the kids are excited to open gifts. You're just feeling kind of groggy in general from Christmas Eve festivities. Want to get warm and cozy. You probably got your pajamas still on, whatever, sitting on the couch, hair a mess, all that stuff. You just fire up some coffee. You eat a cookie that's left over on the table, whatever to have with it. It's just it's a vibes thing for me.
Yep. All right, 4.
Yep.
So this is going to be pretty specific, probably specific to me. The Escape the Family vacation coffee. So I don't know if I've ever said it on this show. I've been pretty outspoken about I do this with my family, for the record. Like we could be on vacation with my parents, my in-laws, like it doesn't matter. Like I need that like 30 to 45 minutes, maybe if you stretch it out to an hour, that's pushing it. That's like an hour's like you're getting a text like where are you kind of deal. Yeah. But it's just like that. Okay, I woke up because I don't know how everybody else. I wake up early on vacation. It doesn't make any sense. I'm like up ready to go by like 6:45, and like I started this thing a long time ago where it's like, all right, I'm gonna get my like 30 to 45. I'm not gonna have a lot of me time today. There's probably none on the docket, right? But I'm gonna take this like 30 to 45 minutes. Walk down to a coffee shop, drive down to a coffee shop. Last vacation I was on with my parents, like we had a golf cart. So I'd take a golf cart down to a coffee shop, like just to get that like me time, like that 30 to 45 minute me time. It makes me a better person for the rest of the day if I can get that. And for that is like, I tried to introduce my oldest daughter to this, like, hey, this is like a thing, like this is my thing, but I'm going to like let you in on my thing, right? Like, you are now going to be part of the very small fraternity that is getting up before everybody and going to get a coffee so you can have some alone time. Well, the first time I invited her on it, she invited like 7 people on our vacation. I'm like, defeats the purpose. Like, you didn't listen to a single word I said. But
did not understand the assignment.
It did not understand it. So I brought her again the next time. She didn't invite anybody. So she learned her lesson. But that is an elite coffee for me. just because it does make me a better person for the rest of the day.
You and I have a similar take for number 4. So I didn't go the extra step of saying like the by myself part of this, but the first vacation coffee at a local coffee shop, like when you're on site, is it can be very elite, but it's also an important one. If you get lucky enough to hit what is going to become your coffee spot for the week on that first one.
I've been lucky in that situation. Yeah.
Same. And you're to the moon, and then all of a sudden you're a regular there for like 5-6 straight days.
Yeah, they just like know who you are. Like that happened to me in South Carolina a couple years ago. Like I just come in, I pull the golf cart up, walk in, and they're like, oat milk latte. Yep. Like dialed it up. Iced. I mean, I was out the door like a second after I paid. Like they already knew what I was wanting. It was awesome.
It's amazing. And then, so you've got that setup going, and vacation for me is like, there's only 2 beverages. It's coffee and like beer or whatever alcohol, I guess. So like that's morning trip. That's afternoon trip. I'm a coffee any day kind of guy. So
me too.
Yeah. Establishing that coffee shop spot right off the bat on vacation. That's one of my favorite coffees.
Yep. Yeah. 100%. So what are we on? Number 3?
We're on number 3.
I'll go first with this because I think you might be in this category, but this is a very vague one. Like the mid-afternoon coffee.
Yeah, no, I totally
You're grinding it out at work. Like I had one today. I had a tough day. Like, but I make it every day. Like about 2:00, 1:30. Like I've already eaten lunch. It's just like it's kind of like the filler of like you have lunch and then you're like, dude, I got to make it from lunch to like the end of the day now. It's kind of like just breaks it up a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
So that like 4 hours doesn't feel too terrible.
Yeah, no, I usually make like a thermos full in the morning. I drink like half of it before lunch and the second half after lunch. But if I, kind of to your point, part of it's just the ritual of like making it and doing it, kind of like to kick off your afternoon or, whatever. So it might make more sense if I just like went ahead and separate batches, but that's how I'm operating right now. I didn't include that on my list, though I agree with you, but it's just like standard operating procedure for me to have the afternoon coffee,
Yeah. Yeah. It is standard, but it's like necessity, I guess.
Yeah, I get it. Number 3 for me is similar to what you talked about with like that, early spring coffee on the patio. This is just kind of year round though. Like the early weekend morning coffee, like especially when you make it at home and the house is quiet still, if you're up before everybody, the sun is coming up. It's just you and the dogs. Maybe there's some dew on the ground. Like you said, you step out to the patio, like in the winter, it's just real cozy, whatever. That to me is just like coffee can be peace. And that's like that time and having a coffee at that time, that hits number 3 for me.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it is peaceful. That's a good, I've never even thought of it that way, but it is kind of peaceful.
And especially a weekend one where it's like, you've either got a big day of stuff coming ahead, so it's like your time to collect yourself and you're quiet, or it's like, okay, you're like exhaling after a busy week or whatever. Weekend specific on that one.
So my 2 is, it's going to sound weird when I say it, but I think if you think about it, you're like, yeah, like that makes, and maybe it's more specific to me. I don't know. But my number 2 is like grandma's house or grandparents' house or parents' house. Kind of come over in the morning, like you're out early, you roll through the, or you're over grandma's house, and like in at least I know, every grandparent my parents have, they have like the older coffee cups, and you're like, I don't know why the coffee just tastes better in these.
Oh yeah.
Like my parents have a collection of a couple older coffee cups, and I'm like, I make the same coffee at my house. It tastes better in this. Like they get like, they have like an old like ceramic like clay mold like coffee cup, and like you have one of those at like grandma's house. Like it's an elite cup of coffee, and maybe that's like specific to me, but I don't know. I always felt like coffee tasted better at like my parents' house when I like after I moved out, of course. Or like my grandma's house. Like it doesn't make any sense. Maybe it's just like a mental thing. Like you don't have to make it, but the older coffee cups like that your grandparents have or your parents have, like the coffee does slightly taste better.
Yeah, I wonder, I try to think of similar versions of that to put into my list, but couldn't like quite identify it, so I didn't add it. But I wonder if it's like a nostalgia thing too,
Like, oh, this is like, like for my parents' house, like I might be drinking coffee out of the first coffee mug I ever had coffee out of, right? Like,
yeah,
my parents just don't get rid of cups and stuff. So it's like they've had the same coffee cups for 30 something years,
Yeah.
And it might be a more of a nostalgia thing. I could see
it's
that.
like smells and tastes are just kind of like memories, like, that kind of thing. I think that probably plays a factor in that too.
Yeah,
I
100%.
totally agree. Like, we'll go, to my parents or whatever for a holiday or something. Somebody fires up a pot of coffee, you have some, you're like, God, this is just like,
it's pretty good.
Yeah.
And it like might be like the crappy, like I remember one time my grandma was like making like this Kroger generic coffee, and I'm like, this shouldn't be this good. But it is.
Yeah.
It is. So
it's wild. Number 2 for me, kind of similar to my number 4, but still different. The start of a trip coffee.
Yeah. Yeah.
It could be airport, it could be car, like road trip, whatever, but like I'm kicking off going somewhere and I'm getting a coffee, or else we're not even going. Like, it's, so that's, to me, it signifies the beginning of, a good time.
Or even could be even just a day trip, right? Like you're getting a cup of coffee. We got an hour and 40 minutes in the car or something, it's like,
yep.
Let's get it dialed up. It reminds me of when we went to the Barbasol.
Yeah, 100%.
And stopped by that Dunkin' Donuts. I said, $10 says I get free donuts when I walk in here. And I walked out with a freaking donut hole thing, unpaid for. Love my people over at Dunkin' Donuts. I'll give them a free shout out. Dunkin' Donuts. America runs on Dunkin'.
That's my Dunkin' Donuts too, but it's not really mine. It's your Dunkin'. I just visit.
I don't have ownership. I probably should at some point. Look, 90% of the surveys that come through that place are from me. I'm just letting you know that. So, but yeah, I agree. Like, there's something about getting a cup of coffee and just like putting it in the cup holder of your car, and going. Yeah,
it's elite. All right, number 1 time.
Number 1, mine's very specific. It's the pre-golf Waffle House coffee.
Oh man, see, yeah. It's good.
There's something about just like, and we are blessed, and I say that, and I mean it. We are blessed to have a Waffle House almost directly across the street from the golf course we play.
Yeah.
And there's something about pulling up to that place at like 6:45, 7 o'clock, maybe 7:30 on a tournament day. Like, we don't have to be there till 8. And just like sitting at the bar stool and having a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, you can, if you, to go, they've got the foam cup or whatever. You could go, the no lid lifestyle, like our boy Neil Shipley. Or they do have the mugs there as well, like the ceramic mugs to drink out of. It's surprisingly good coffee. Like, for what it is, it's pretty tasty. Yeah,
it is. It is. And I think it's more the setting. And again, it's probably more of a mental thing of like, you're about to get play some golf today. It's probably a Saturday, Saturday morning. You ain't got shit on your mind other than like drinking this cup of coffee and going to play golf.
Yeah.
And about to kill a bacon bowl. That's that's about it.
Yeah. Plus, again, it's like the nostalgia thing with the coffee at your parents or whatever. There's something about it, just like, it kind of just like takes you down, like brings you to the moment, brings you to your roots, like, I'm not too good for this Waffle House coffee, Yeah. Like, it's a good reminder.
It is a like, hey, you're never too big to like, and it might be just like, if you really wanted to like broaden it, like a diner coffee, right? Like,
yeah,
an old style roll in, have a cup of coffee sitting at a counter. Like, that you could even open it up to that. But for me, it's like the Waffle House across the street from our course at like 6:45 in the morning, and the beautiful ladies that prepare that coffee and our meal, I love them. But like, I can see if someone rolled in there and be like, what did I get myself into? Especially people that don't get a Waffle House.
Right. That's just salt of the earth people, man. Those are our people.
Yep.
Great call. Number 1 for me, something we've talked about on this show a couple times, I think. the first official seasonal switch coffee.
This, and we are right in territory, right?
We're close, yeah. So
I would even, and go ahead. I'll let you finish, and I'll give you my take on this.
I think what you're gonna say is that the spring version is better. Like when you go from hot to iced, is that what you're about to say?
That's part of it. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, it's very similar to me for like, different drinks for different times of year, different beers for different times of year. It's kind of like the first shandy of the spring. When you get the first like iced coffee, you can get it whenever, right? But there will be a day where it's like appropriate to get it, and you get the iced coffee, and the weather syncs up with you ordering the iced coffee. You can roll your car windows down. There's like, it's just, when you've done it and when you've hit this moment.
Yeah. Yeah, and I would tell you we have entered the like day by day transition.
Yeah,
because we are getting some warmer days. I will tell you, I got my first iced coffee on Saturday. Knew it was going to be 60 degrees. And another thing, knew I was going to be like in a hot gym. We had a basketball game at like 9 a.m. If we won, we were going to have one at 1 o'clock, and I'm like, and then I knew in between those two games, like we were going to go walk at the zoo. So I knew I was going to be sweating a little bit because it was not going to be like cold. Like I was like, I'm doing it. So I in the car on the way down, I was like, how do you, like, one of my kids asked, like, how do you decide like what coffee, like you're going to get hot or ice? Cause they've seen me get both, obviously. Mm. And I was like, honestly, I think we're now entering like, hey, if it's going to be 65 or 70, like I'm going to get a nice coffee.
Yeah.
But if it's going to be less than 65, like if it's going to be like 50, I'm getting a hot coffee for sure.
I definitely mix it up more than I probably should. Like I'll drink both year round at times. I'll lean one or the other depending, I'm obviously drinking more hot coffee in the winter and vice versa. But like I said, there will be an actual moment where it's like, okay, I should be drinking this. And that's the coffee I'm talking about. And I'm not above, I'm basic, whatever. When it's fall time and I get that first pumpkin spice latte, I don't care.
I mean, I like this. I like the winter to spring transition better. Obviously, who doesn't? Like, we're going into warmer weather, but there is something to be said about like that first time you roll in like mid-October, right? Maybe even beginning of October, like that first like day that you're gonna have to wear like pants and a hoodie, and getting a hot drink. Like, I agree with that.
Yeah. That's the power rankings. Situational coffees.
I love it.
I love it too. Yeah, everybody let us know if you're a coffee drinker. I'm sure we either left stuff off or you highly disagree with something we said. So we want to hear that, please. And with that, we can head to the patio. We got a real good glimpse of patio weather on Saturday. It was very, very.
It was good. It was, and I got a delivery. So there was a fish fry, and they had like all this like donated at cost beer that didn't get drank. And so I had a neighbor, awesome, Patrick, shout out to Patrick, like brought all this at cost beer. So now I've got I already went through one of the cases or one of the 12 packs, but brought 6 12-pack tall boy Miller Lights.
Oh.
And I bought them like at cost. It was fantastic. That's why I went through a whole 12-pack of them already. Like Saturday, I went out, put my iPad like on my table and like watched college basketball and just sat out there, drank like 3 or 4 of those bad boys. It was fantastic.
Oh, yeah. I cannot wait to get we brought the TV from the patio inside, obviously before winter, and I'm just like itching to get it back up there and get out there and start enjoying some sports weekends out there.
Yes.
All right. Me or you first? What do you want to do here?
I'm going first because I've got a question that I think deserves an answer.
Okay.
And I might know yours, maybe not. I don't know. But I think it was hard for me to kind of pinpoint it, but I think I know when mine happened. But what was your peak? Not as a person, but as a sports fan. You're like, this moment in time, like whether it was a month, a year or two, where you're like, it doesn't get much better for the people I cheer for or teams I cheer for.
Yeah, I mean, this is sad because I don't, not much success on the Cincinnati sports front in my lifetime.
No, but I think there was I would say marginal success, right? Like,
yeah, not championship success, but there's been success. Yeah, it's obvious the Super Bowl run was probably it because
like that month and a half window where they made the run to the Super Bowl. Yeah.
For multiple reasons. I think the three chief reasons. One, they ended the playoff win drought against the Raiders, and that was a 30-year drought, and Marvin Lewis had been there, and we were 0-7 under him in playoffs. So, like, that factor. The second factor was, like, it was just a fun run. Like, they had to go on the road to the Titans. They had to go on the road to beat the Chiefs in a comeback fashion. So, like, it was, the whole Money Mac thing and all that, and the Burrow magic. So, really crazy. And the third was just like it kind of vindicated like all the stuff that I'd been through as a fan to that point. We had Joe Burrow, and it was like we had real hope for the first time, and now the years since have not really gone to plan after getting to that zenith of it all. But like, I think the combo of like it coming a little sooner than we thought it would, and then also the way it happened, and then the demons it exercised was kind of like, that was definitely the peak. I remember Ryan was over our house when I picked him up on my shoulders and carried him around like a little baby through everything. I think I tackled him on my couch for a different one of the other times. Like lots of celebrations during that run. That was probably it.
Yeah, that I was thinking that I was trying to narrow it down. And I was like, the problem is like when UC basketball like had the run of like some number one rankings, and you went to the Logan, Logan, and all those really good players from like the 90s, 2000. Like, we were just young enough that it's like it didn't like it mattered, but it probably didn't like matter a ton. You know what I mean? I don't know.
I will say that was my first like memorable Cincinnati heartache was when Kenyon Martin broke his leg in the conference tournament. They were a 1 seed and very real one.
People weeping in the streets, like
that was the first real one that I can remember.
Like, if you didn't know anything about what happened, and like you were like in a bar watching that, we were young, and so we weren't in a bar. But like, if you walked in a bar and like you would see grown men crying, you're like, it's about Kenyon Martin. You're like, is he dead? Like, did he die today? Like, that's probably what you would have assumed. Like, looking at people's reactions by it. It's like, nah, he just tore his ACL. Oh, it's like, because you got like grown men like literally crying about this because they were like the number one team. Like, it was kind of one of those things. It was like, barring anything crazy happening like that, like they're definitely making a Final Four, And so but I was thinking like we might have been just slightly too young to like, hey, the run of like UC teams there and like a 2-3 year stretch were pretty special.
Yeah. I think if you want me to hit you with one more too, the Votto MVP year and the Jay Bruce walk-off home run to win the division, like that Reds season, the couple seasons after that were both painful and a lot of fun. We've talked about this. I don't think there's anything better when your baseball team is winning. Yeah,
dude, baseball, because it's such a grind, man. It's like a grind. Yeah. It's a grind. You're like, fuck yeah, we won 97 games this year, and there ain't nothing anybody can do to take that away from us. Like, there's something about that.
And it's just a vibe and an energy in the city. It's a day they play every day.
Especially Cincinnati, because we take a lot of shit. Our fan bases take a lot of shit. But I will tell you this: when it comes to baseball, there is not a better fan base. Period. Like, just not. Like, we've been through some shitty seasons, but like when our baseball team's good, there's something like it was cool. The Bengals lead up to the Super Bowl was awesome. Like, living here was like people are excited. But I'll tell you what, there's nothing better than like when the Reds are good and you'd be like mid-June and they're like in first place and you just get a text like, hey, you want to go down to the game tonight? Like, fuck yeah, I do. Like a Friday at the stadium rooting on like a first place team. Like, it doesn't get any better than that.
No. Yeah, there's just something about baseball season where, like I said, the daily nature of it, and it's such a grind, and you're into the minutia of every lineup decision, and
day in, day out.
Yeah, that there's just something better about when you have a good baseball season rolling. It's
Yeah.
It just carries your summer.
Well, and again, especially in Cincinnati, like I think our baseball fans just have not deserved. We don't deserve this. Like, there's a reason everybody says our opening day is the best opening day in in Major League Baseball. Because it is. Like, like people take off work, people take their kids out of school. Like, it is a holiday. And I think when Cincinnati baseball especially is good, but I bet Philly's the same way. Like Philly's good. Like when they're good, like it's fun. It's a fun summer. You know what I mean? Like having a good baseball team. So, I will tell you this question. Like it took me some time, and I'll be honest, I couldn't narrow it down to like a month or two for me. For me, it was like 2010 to like 2012.
Yeah,
like that window for me saw 2 Reds winning seasons, 2 NL Central championships. 1 year they win 91 games. Then, 2 years later they win 97 games.
Mm-hmm.
They have the fucking Giants on the ropes, like in the divisional. Like those, just like that, just with the Reds, like that 3-year stretch was pretty good baseball. They had that 1 year in between that wasn't good, but like those 2 bookend years were like fantastic. Packers win a Super Bowl in that window. Kentucky wins a national championship in that window. It was like, and then some of the Kentucky teams that didn't win national championships were like awesome to watch. So it was, it was like barely into the Cal era. It was like a great time. Like the only team that didn't really have like a ton of success in that window would have been like, I don't know. Actually, I think everybody was pretty decent at that time. You know what I mean? So I'm like, that window of like 3 years was pretty exciting for me, especially looking back on it now. It's like, and this is going to sound super elitist, the Packers really haven't come close to winning the Super Bowl since then. I mean, they've made the NFC Championship game, but kind of a blowout. They really weren't close to winning any of those games, maybe other than one of them. I think, let's see, Kentucky's only gotten to, I think they got the 2 other Final Fours after that. They had a major meltdown on a 38-0 team, that shot clock violation that didn't get called. Like shit like that happened, and it's like, damn, but for those 3 years, I was a pretty happy fan.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't have, I can't remember the best, like if I had to look at a couple year window, there's not really one that stands out for me personally. Yeah, I mean, I guess the closest thing to that is either that Reds run, like you mentioned, right? But I didn't have multiple teams doing stuff in that time frame. And then the Bengals, like the back-to-back, they had the Super Bowl, then they went to the championship game the next year.
That's a pretty good run. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, right? Like for how the Bengals have been.
Right. So like that, that's probably the 2 that I could point to in my lifetime. But outside of that, I mean, it's been pretty bleak. You know what? I'm completely ignoring UC football in this conversation.
Yeah, I was about to say. I mean, they had a playoff again. They had a playoff appearance. Yeah,
that was a lot of fun. Don't get me wrong, but I was actually at UC during the like Tony Pike.
Yeah, those teams were pretty exciting.
And so you had, I want to say back-to-back Orange and Sugar Bowl in that time frame, and there was like a very serious like. They almost made the title game, the Sugar Bowl year.
Yes,
without the Texas and Ndamukong Suh situation happening. Anyway, but yeah, so like
that run of UC football was pretty elite.
That, and having gone to several of those games, like that was probably actually experiencing the situation and like being in the stadium for some of those games, and even going back to like the Armand Benz catch against Pitt, like. That, if I had to actually answer it, that might be the top. Like the Bengals one hit different for me, but like the one that happened with UC was more of a like, I wish I knew I was in the good old days before I left them kind of thing.
Oh, I just had, my brain's in like basketball mode right now, and like I love college basketball. Like I live for March. Like I live for college basketball. Like I love the summer. I do. And I love golf, but like I live and breathe. And this, I live and breathe college basketball like all year. Like as soon as it starts, like I'm into it. Right.
Yeah.
But like I was having this conversation with someone the other day, and it was like, it's been a rough stretch for Kentucky basketball. Like in the historic box of what Kentucky basketball is, the last 5 years have been just like fucking bad. Like not enjoyable. Like, I mean, they've got more 10-loss seasons in the last 5 than they had in like the previous like 50 or something. Yeah. It's some insane stat. Like they missed the tournament and they're like, they had an under 500 year in there. Like in that 5 year, it's been fucking bad. Like again, I'm not trying to sound elitist. I know I'm a privileged fan of a team that, you know, thankfully my grandpa got me interested in when I was like 6 years old, and they have this grand history of like being really good. But like the last 5 years, like if you would have told, like last year, they make the Sweet 16 after a brutal run of tournament games, like losing to Golke, losing to St. Peter's, missing the tournament, under 500. Like last year, they make the Sweet 16, and like I'm tearing up, right? And I'm like, thank God, like we finally make it out of the first weekend in what seems like forever. And I'm like, if you'd have told me this 5 years ago, I told you you're fucking nuts. Like, there's no way I would have been just, oh, sweet, we made a Sweet 16, like, and be that emotional about it. But it's been a tough stretch for Kentucky basketball. It really has. And again, I know it's very elitist, but it, like in the grand scheme of how they've been pretty much my entire life, the last 5 years almost seems unfathomable. Like it never would happen. Right.
Yeah. And for you, I mean, like you said, this is kind of like the sport you're maybe the most invested in. So that's what makes it extra tough. So
I mean, think about it. Like they actually had the record for the most first round wins in a row. I think it was like 37 first round wins in a row.
Yeah.
Most like tournament appearances in a row. I think they were leading that category forever. And then like that busted at the end of the Tubby, you know, the Tubby era, whatever. And then like into the Billy Gillespie era. But like going in, like if you'd have told me like you're going to lose 2 first round games in 2 years, like that wouldn't even like registered. Like it'd be like, bullshit. Like there's, especially the people we lost to. It's like, it's one thing to get a shitty seed. And like next thing you know, it's like a 6 seed Kentucky playing like or a 7 seed Kentucky playing like a 10 seed North Carolina. And they just kind of had down years. You can maybe swallow that first round loss a little bit, but like losing to the teams they lost to, like it's been a colossal struggle. So yeah, I sound elitist. I'm just going to stop it there.
Am I making this up? Wasn't there like an NIT loss to Oral Roberts or something in there too?
Well, no, it was Robert Morris, and that was back. Okay. That was actually like Cal's 3rd year. Like people forget that. So actually, it was like his 4th year. And it was the year after they won the national championship.
That's right. Okay.
They just, again, it kind of goes back to like some high school classes are not built the same way as others, right? Some are like, dude, this high school class, like this year, there's 20 guys that are like these freshmen that are like fucking amazing. Like they're just incredible basketball talents. But some years, like the next rankings, like they're good, but they're not like, you know, so that year was like the year before is like you had Anthony Davis, Michael Kidd. Like you had these like incredible basketball. And then next year they kind of have the same kind of recruiting class. And it's like they're just not the same talent level. Like they're really good, but they're not automatic NBA player good, right?
Yeah,
and they lost to Robert Morris at Robert Morris in the NIT. And the worst part is they were supposed to host that game, but the women hosted, like they were hosting the NCAA tournament, so they couldn't play on their court. And then the worst part is like Cal's from like right near Robert Morris, so like he lost this game like in his own backyard. So,
damn,
it was a tough year. But like they like the next year they went to the finals, and then the year after that they were 38-0. Like it kind of made up for itself after that year, but. Yeah, that year was tough. That was a tough year.
Man. Yeah, that's a good question. I always like when we get to those kind of fandom questions.
Yeah.
We've done that a lot on Patio Beers, but it's always nice to have a different approach.
Yep.
So mine, I don't even know if I really have a real question off of this, but we had a pretty spirited discussion in one of our group chats this morning just about
we did.
about youth sports
I
and
tell you
stuff.
what, I should have known my day was going to get worse after that because I was getting so worked up about it.
I know. So we were texting. Shout out to Joe and Aaron. We were, we're all four of us are dads. We've got young to middle school age kids or whatever, and so there's varying degrees of like our experiences with youth sports and getting our kids involved in teams and that kind of stuff. And so there was just like some general bitching about some scheduling going on, things like that. My kids are a little younger than all of your guys's, so I'm like just deathly afraid watching the experiences that you guys are having.
You're not like quite in the thick of things. Yeah.
No, I'm not. I'm in the experimental phase where we're just kind of like, all right, you're going to try a bunch of stuff and then we're going to figure it out.
Yeah, and it's like one game a week. You know what I mean? Like, you're like, it's like, all right, we just can't do anything Sunday at 12 o'clock.
Exactly. That's where I'm at. But I, like I said in the text too, like Zach's in the middle of a truly just like it's like the Kentucky Robert Morris lost season. Just this season gone wrong in the I-9 Sports League basketball for him this year. But I guess if I had one question out of this is just like, what is your number one advice for parents and either getting their kids into sports, dealing with some of the stuff that comes up in youth sports, like just what do you got?
So I think that's a two-headed question. So the first advice I would stem from like how do you like what do you do, right? Like how do you manage? And so I would say you're on the right track. Like I think up until you're like 9 or 10 years old, you should play everything, right? Mm. One, because there's not going to be more than like one game a week, right? Like it's not a huge time commitment. Maybe one game, one practice. Like in reality, it's a 2-hour time commitment in a week, right?
Yeah.
But let them play everything. Like I don't think anytime one of my daughters, like it might even be something where I'm like, I've never played that. I don't have any interest in that. But I'm like, if you want to play it, like we'll let you try it. Like whether that, and it doesn't necessarily even have to be a league. It could be just like a camp, right? Like, hey, like let's sign you up for this camp and like let you try it. If you like it, we'll sign you up for the league the next year. Mm-hmm. I think that's a really easy way to like let kids try sports is like, and we're lucky enough around here. Like we have high schools that like, hey, for $30, you can send them to a camp for 2 hours a day all week, right?
Yep.
Like I had a daughter that wanted to try lacrosse. I'm like, I don't know shit about lacrosse. I've never picked up a lacrosse stick or anything. I think that's what they call them. Yeah. I don't know. But I think that's number one. Like let them try everything. Don't push towards what you want them to. Because if you push towards a certain sport, they're going to go the other direction and they're going to end up in a sport that you don't want them to play. Like for sure. Right. Yeah. So that's the first advice. Like just up until 8 or 9 years old, let them just do everything. Right. Secondly, and I think you said like advice when you get into athletics. So I just got done coaching. Right. Number one, if you decide that you don't want to coach, sit there and shut up.
Yep.
Sit there and shut up. Your kid is now getting coached by somebody, right?
Correct.
Now, again, when you get volunteers, I told you this. I said I would never volunteer to coach a sport that I don't know. Like I would never volunteer to coach a youth hockey team. I like hockey. I know the rules. I don't know the fundamentals behind hockey. Like I don't know what drills you should do. I don't know what a hockey practice should look like. Like right. I have no idea. And so I wouldn't coach that sport, right? So you do run into that. But like if you decide that you are not going to coach, sit there and shut up. Like you're going to want to. You're going to want to say something. But my whole thing is like if you can't take the time out of your schedule to sign up and be a coach because everybody needs coaches. Yeah. Like we kind of were not going to coach. I really enjoy coaching basketball, but I've done the 3rd grade girls basketball coach thing. And they're just not quite at the age, and I'm not a very good communicator with girls, and especially girls at the age of like 8 or 9. I typically come off like mean, so I didn't want to do it again. But they like were begging people to coach, so I'm like, looked at Danielle, and I'm like, look, I'll coach if you help. Like we'll kind of tag team this thing. Like you're a teacher, you deal with kids, like you'll be a better communicator.
Yeah.
Like, let me just do the, like, set up the drills and, like, we'll work on the fundamentals and, like, I can draw up a play or so. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But, like, that's my biggest thing. Like, if you decide not to coach, because everybody needs coaches, you've made that decision that you're not going to coach. So sit there, enjoy watching your kid play, stay out of it kind of thing. I think because we had some awesome parents and no one ever really like, but I told you like the story is like, I've had a parent before like, well, what's your qualification to coach basketball? It's like, first off, if you are that much more qualified than me, why are you not coaching? Right? Like if you truly think that. And two, I'm like, I had to explain to him, I'm like, one, I probably watch more basketball than you in a year than you probably will in the next 10 years. Until you watch a MAC Friday night basketball game at 6:30 p.m., I don't want to hear from you, you know. But two, I'm like, that's my biggest thing. I'm like, you decided not to coach. Like, why are you qualifying me now? Like, if you were that qualified to coach, you should have coached.
Right.
Like, so that's my biggest thing. And just don't be that parent. Like, you know, I think that's the biggest advice I can give.
Yeah. I pretty much have no notes for you and very little to add. One thing that I hadn't thought about that you brought up though is like the camps thing is like such a good way.
Easy way.
Yeah. We did that and I just didn't think about it as like an intentional strategy until you just brought it up here. But like, yeah, that's an easy gateway into different sports, a lot cheaper, a lot less investment. Kids kind of know if they want to keep doing it or not from like a short thing like that, you know? Yep. So that's a simple thing to do. And then, yeah, my dad coached a lot of my teams growing up, baseball, basketball, otherwise. And, you know, I had to step in a little bit for one of Zach's flag football teams because like the coach's son broke his arm and wasn't going to play. So whatever. Not really for me. Like, I'm kind of like you. Like, I don't, it's hard for me to communicate with these kids at this level.
Hard.
Probably be a little better off if I had a little older kids. But yeah, I'm the parent. I'm not really interested in coaching. I appreciate people that volunteer, but I do think that there is like a threshold that, like you just said, you kind of self-regulate, right? If you're gonna coach or not, if you're qualified to coach or not. Some people might need to do a better job putting themselves through that filter.
Yeah, and I can tell you this just from it, and again, our basketball league, and specifically like our local organization was like struggling to like fill coaching positions. Like there was a coach on another team. It wasn't someone we were playing. It was like a game I was like watching. Was like trying to call a timeout when the other team had the ball. It's like, dude, that's basic basketball rules. Like you can call a timeout when you can if you make a basket, you can call a timeout real quick before they inbound it. But like you can't call a timeout when the other team I'm like simple stuff. I'm like, okay, if you knew you were coaching, like just go like watch a 10-minute YouTube video, right? Like if you're like, all right, I've been thrusted into this because no one else wanted to do it. Like if I got thrusted into coaching lacrosse, I can tell you I'd probably spend like 2 or 3 hours one day like watching video. There's enough videos on shit out there. Like I would get the very bare minimum of like what I would need to like actually coach a team, like, or at least get them working on the fundamentals of the sport. Right. But a lot of times you see people get thrusted in this and it sucks. And then just like do no work to like figure out how to actually coach. Like your dad probably didn't know everything, right? But like at some point he probably asked people, like it's obviously not, that was before the age of YouTube, but like he probably asked around. He probably like, got reading material on like what to work with. Like he did probably some form of research of like, all right, I don't know about this, but I'm going to go find out about this to like help you coach every team that you played on. Right.
Yeah. 100%. That's a good way. Education's a big key in that, I imagine, for sure.
Yeah, and I think, and if you do end up coaching, like especially prior to like 12 years old, like from the first third grade girls team I coached, I actually ran into one of the girls I coached. She's still playing basketball. She was our worst player when she was in third grade. Barely knew how to dribble basketball.
Yeah,
and like we just made practices fun. Like you're working on stuff, but they don't know like they're actually working on stuff like shooting competitions and like not knockout, but like, certain things that, and like, and I remember talking to her mom and she was like, she had so much fun on it. Like that was the most fun she ever had playing basketball. And she was like, and she wanted to stick with it because of that. Right. And she was not good. Dude, she was terrible. Like she could barely dribble a basketball. And it was cool to like see her in 6th grade still playing basketball. I'm like, if you just make it fun and like work on fundamentals, that's all prior to 12 years old. That's all it's about anyway. Right.
Yeah.
And if you have a coach that, and I will say the one time you should speak out, if you have a coach prior to 12 years old making it but anything about learning how to play and not in fun, then you do need to say something like, hey, this is not about winning and losing right now. Like this is about teaching probably 10 kids that have never played organized basketball or organized whatever, how to play the game. Like, and if you happen to win, great. Right.
Right.
But if you have a coach at like 3rd grade that's like prioritizing winning over like them, like everybody learning the game, that's a problem. Then you should say something.
Yeah, definitely. Oh boy. Yeah. I fear for my future. I've already got 3 boys in hand. Things are going to evolve rapidly here for me.
Yeah. I'm lucky that my oldest one decided she's going in the middle school. She decided like golf's her thing. And by the way, with her first tee, like did a Saturday 2-hour clinic first tee. Yep. And that like got her like just interested enough. And like, I think it cost like $25 or something. Like instead of being like, all right, we're going to buy you a bunch of golf clubs and like pay $400 for this thing. And then you go out and hate it. It was like $25. It's like, did you like it? Yep. All right, cool. Let's sign you up for something else. That's like a day, right? Just to feed that interest. So
yeah, I mean golf specifically, like the access to camps and junior programs across the country is unbelievable. Like people would probably not even have any idea of like how good we have it. Like
especially now, it's like even like I thought when we were kids, it started to get pretty good because Tiger Woods and a lot of kids get interested in golf. But nowadays, like I said this in our text chat. I was like, golf is like one of the sports that's like moving in the opposite direction of every sport. Like every other sport, like baseball, basketball, it's all like you get to a certain level, you've now got to like commit crazy amounts of time to a select team or a travel team. Golf now is like going backwards, and it's like every local association probably has a junior tour. They vary the tournaments from like 2-day tournaments and 1-day tournaments, and hey, you can do a 9-hole slot instead of playing all 18. Like they make it very accessible for skill levels. And like, even if you're like the best player in the city, like you still play in these tournaments because there's enough competition there to like kind of scratch that itch and like get you competitive rounds. So I think golf's moving it's crazy to see because it's such an elitist sport that it's moving in the opposite direction of like baseball and basketball that when we were kids was like, if you didn't like, we grew up in a middle class area, it's like, all right, we don't have the money for you to play golf, so you're just going to play basketball or you're just going to play baseball. Like it was like the easy sport to like just go play, right? Kind of thing. And it's like golf's actually moving in the other direction where hell, you can find free camps, so it's kind of interesting to see that.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, man, good to be back. Nice to have some normalcy to life.
Yeah.
Glad to be back weekly. We'll have some good golf here coming up to talk about, both professionally and hopefully of our own. If it ever stops raining, which it may not for the next, who knows?
I think there's 14 days of rain forecasted for us. So
yeah. I'm just looking forward to our trip in June, and I know we've got a little virtual golf thing on the books here for March Madness time, which will be fun, but. Yeah, hoping to actually get out to a real golf course within the next, couple weeks here, God willing.
Please, God.
Yeah. So, yeah, hopefully we'll see you out there. Hopefully we'll see you guys on a patio somewhere. But until next time, cheers.
See ya. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Back 9 Six-Pack. Be sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Back 9 Six-Pack for all your content needs. We'll see you guys next week. Cheers.